Hello, Snowball's back. If I'm correct, this should have been posted exactly 30 minutes after the first half. Or 3/4 or whatever. They stayed for a week at Whiterun. Straw earned a bit of money running errands, and BARENZIAH burgled a few houses at night. She continued to dress as a boy. She cut her hair short and dyed her flame-red tresses jet black to further the disguise, and kept out of sight as much as possible. There were a few dark elves in Whiterun. One day Straw got them work as temporary guards for a merchant caravan traveling east. The one-armed sergeant looked over her dubiously. Heh, he chuckled. Dark elf, ain't ya? Like settin' a wolf to guard the sheep. That is. Huh? Heh, he chuckled. Dark elf, ain't ya? Like settin' a wolf to guard the sheep. That is. Still, I need arms, and we ain't going near enough to Morrowind, so ye can betray us to your folk. Our homegrown bandits would as fain cut ye throat as mine. The sergeant turned to give Straw an appraising look, then he spun back abruptly towards BARENZIAH, whipping out his short sword. But she had her dagger out in the twinkling of an eye, and was in a defensive stance. Straw drew his own knife and circled around the man's rear. The sergeant dropped his blade and chuckled again. Not bad, kids, not bad. How are ye with yon bow, dark elf? BARENZIAH demonstrated her prowess briefly. Aye, not bad, not bad. And ye be keen of eye by night, boy, and of hearing tall times a trusty dark elf. Wait, what? Okay, that sentence made no sense. Aye, not be bad, not bad. Tall, and ye'll be keen of eye by night, boy, and of hearing tall times. A trusty dark elf makes as good a fighting man as any could ask for. I knew I served under Sycamus hisself, afore I lost this arm, and got invalidated outer the Emperor's army. We could betray them. I know folk who will pay well, Straw said later as they bedded down for their last night at the ramshackle lodge, or rob them ourselves. They were very rich, these merchants are. Very. BARENZIAH laughed. What would we do with so much money? And besides, we need their protection for traveling quite as much as they need ours. We could buy a little farm, you and me, Barry, and settle down all nice-like. Pleasant, BARENZIAH thought scornfully. Straw was a pleasant and harbored nothing but pleasant dreams. But all she said was, not here, Straw. We're too close to Darkmoor still. We'll have other chances further east. The caravan went only as far as east as Sungard. The Emperor Tiber Septim I had done much... Wait. The Emperor Tiber Septim. I had done much in the way of building relatively safe and regularly patrolled highways. But the tolls were steep, and this particular caravan kept to the side roads as much as possible to avoid them. This exposed them to the hazards of wayside robbers, both human and orcish, and roving brigand bands of various races. This is a long one. But such were the perils of trade and profit. They had two such encounters before reaching Sungard, an ambush which BARENZIAH's keen ears warned them of in plenty of time, for them to circle about and surprise the lurkers, and a night attack by mixed band of Khajiit humans and wood elves. The latter were a skilled band, and even BARENZIAH did not hear them sneaking up in time to give much warning. This time the fight was fierce. The attackers were driven off, but two of the caravan's other guards were slain, and Straw got a nasty cut on his thigh before he and BARENZIAH managed to gash his Khajiit assassin's throat. Boo. BARENZIAH rather enjoyed the life the garrulous. The sergeant had taken a liking to her, and she spent most of her evening sitting around the campfire listening to his tales of campaigning in Morrowind with Tiber Septim. And General Simraptor. This Simraptor had been made general after Mournhold fell. The sergeant said, "He's a fine soldier boy, Simraptor is, but there was more in soldiering involved that." Yes, that's what it says. Morrowind business. If ye take my meaning, but there was more in soldiery involving that Morrowind business, if ye take my meaning. But well ye know all about that, I spect. No, I don't remember, BARENZIAH said, trying to sound nonchalant. I lived most of my life in Skyrim. My mother married a Skyrim man. They're both dead, though. Tell me, what happened to the Lord and Lady of Mournhold? The sergeant shrugged. I ain't never heard. Dead, I spect. 'Twas a lot of fighting afore the armistice got signed. It's pretty quiet now, maybe too quiet, like a calm afore a storm. Say, boy, you going back there? Maybe, BARENZIAH said. The truth was that she was drawn irresistibly to Morrowind and Mournhold, like a moth to a burning house. Straw sensed it and was unhappy about it. He was unhappy anyway, since they could not bed together, as she was supposed to be a boy. BARENZIAH rather missed it too, but not as much as Straw did, seemingly. The sergeant wanted them to sign up for the return trip, but gave them a bonus nonetheless when they turned the offer down, and parchments of recommendation. Straw wanted to settle down permanently near Sungard, but BARENZIAH insisted on continuing their travels east. I'm the Queen of Mournhold by rights, she said, unsure whether it was true or not, or was it just a daydream she had made up as a lost, bewildered child. I want to go home. I need to go home. That at least was true. How many pages? Only 4 more. After a few weeks, they managed to get places in another caravan heading east. By early winter, they were at Riften and nearing the Morrowind border. But the weather had grown severe as days passed, and they were told no merchant caravans would be setting forth till mid-spring. BARENZIAH stood on top of these city walls and stared across the deep gorge that separated Riften from the snow-clad mountain wall, guarding Morrowind beyond. Barry Straw said gently, Mournhold's a long way off yet, nearly as far as we've come already, and the lands between are wild, full of wolves and bandits and orcs, and still worse creatures. You forgot the trolls. We'll have to wait for spring. There's Silgrod Tower, Barry said, referring to the dark elven township that had grown up around an ancient minaret guarding the border between Skyrim and Morrowind. The bridge guards won't let me cross, Barry. They're cracked Imperial troops. They can't be bribed. If you go alone. I won't try and stop you, but what will you do? Silgrod Tower is full of Imperial soldiers. Will you become a washing woman for them, or a camp follower? No, Barenziah said slowly, thoughtfully. Actually, the idea was not entirely unappealing. She was sure she could earn a modest living by sleeping with the soldiers. She had a few adventures of that sort as they crossed Skyrim when she was dressed as a woman and slipped away from Straw. She had only been looking for a bit of variety. Straw was sweet but dull. She had been startled but extremely pleased when the men she picked up offered her money afterwards. Straw had been unhappy about it, though and would shout for a while, then sulk for days afterward. If he caught her at it, he was quite jealous. He'd even threatened to leave her, not that he ever did or could. But the Imperial Guards were a tough and brutal lot by all accounts, and Barenziah had heard some very ugly stories during their treks. The ugliest of them by far had come from the lips of ex-army veterans around the caravan campfire, and they were proudly recounted. They had been trying to shock her and Straw. She realized, but she also comprehended that there was some truth behind the wild tales. Straw hated that kind of dirty talk, and hated it more when she had to hear it. But there was a part of him that was fascinated nevertheless. Barenziah sensed this and had encouraged Straw to seek out other women. But he said he didn't want anyone else but her. She told him candidly she didn't feel that way about him, but she did like him better than anyone else. Then why do you go with other men? Straw had asked on one occasion. I don't know, Straw sighed. They say dark elven women are like that. Barenziah smiled and shrugged. I don't know. Or no. Maybe I do. Yes, I do know. She turned and kissed him affectionately. I guess that's all the explanation there is. Okay. That's the second half of The Real Bareziah, Volume 1. Next will be Volume 2. Have a good day. Bye-bye.